Hello everyone, this is Michelle Patterson with Angel Souls, and this is your weekly Angel Oracle card reading for the week beginning October 10th, 2016. For this week, I'm going to be using the, Wisdom of the Golden Path Oracle deck by Tony Carmine Salerno. I just got this, so we'll see how it goes. And of course, pulling a color card from the Secret Language of Color Oracle deck by Anna Segal. And if you would like to get a personal reading with me, just go to my website at angelsouls444.com, the services page. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, I'll leave that below. And of course, there's Gumroad with all the extra readings and courses. And this week on YouTube, I released my very first meditation video. I realized when I went back, I'm like, oh, you live and you learn, right? With a meditation video, you have to speak a lot slower, which I wasn't doing that. So I do apologize, but it's up. And like I said, it's my first one. What you gonna do, you know? Again, you live and you learn. So let's see what's going on for the week of October 10th. Okay, so here we go. What do we have? Unconditional love. That's really beautiful. I am truth. Okay, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Don't compromise. Okay. And listen to your heart. Okay, so let's talk about this, because when I sat down, I didn't want to sit here and like start. I kind of want to see what the cards were going to say, honestly. But I don't know if any of you have been experiencing this, but I know I've been feeling off center, and like, I mean, my whole job is to remain centered and still have strong boundaries, but, you know, be loving and compassionate, but not let myself get sort of overspent. And I don't know, despite my best efforts, I don't know how you guys are feeling. Please leave down below if you've been experiencing kind of similar things, but just feeling like, I don't know, kind of like getting pulled in too many directions, or again, we were talking about the shadow aspects working through people. I've had a lot of that. I knew that was coming, but I had a lot of that coming out, and just, you know, a lot of cruelty kind of surfacing, but I hope it's surfacing so that it can be released. Like people just letting their anger come up to the surface so that it can go, so that they can look at it and let it go. But it feels like this week, if you've been experiencing that, or some variation thereof, okay, some degree of that, this might be a week of recovery coming out, where you might have had that burst of like, rah, 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 you know, whatever, that confrontation or whatever, but now we're clearing that away, and we're understanding that there is unconditional love there, and that we are loved no matter what kind of conflict we might be experiencing. Okay, this is interesting because I don't usually get a romantic twist on things that isn't like, well, this is kind of a romantic card, I suppose. But for some of us, it might have to do with romance. Excuse me. It might have to do with romance, where somebody that, okay, hang with me here. For some of you, this feels like somebody that you've had a falling out with. It could be an ex. It doesn't mean that ex is necessarily coming back to be in a partnership with you, but you realize that they still love you as a friend, or a family member. Even if you've had your outs, they still love you. Okay, and this is powerful. And of course, I'm being reminded to tell you that divinity, the divine, God, source, creator, always loves you no matter what. So no matter how you've behaved, no matter the choices you've made, you know, if you've come to that moment where you're like, okay, I got to turn things around, whatever you have going on in your world, you are always loved. Okay. Then we have I am truth. And this is something we're going to have to remind ourselves of this week, because, you know, part of what's going on here is that we're getting kind of caught up in the pain drama, kind of caught up in the human story. And really, your soul is the truth. And this is something, I feel like it's, I don't know, kind of like over the weekend, like if you're watching this, I'm recording this on the Thursday before October 10th. But I am truth says, remember the truth of your own soul. Remember that you are not the story that you are portraying. And, you know, again, if there have been conflicts or whatever, these can be amended, because in truth, love is always the answer. I know that I was like trying to avoid saying that because I don't want that to be like a cliche for you and for you to ignore it. I want you to feel the weight of that. Okay. There's always enough love inside of you. You are the truth. Your soul is truth. Okay. Then we have don't compromise. So here you go. here's another little interesting thing. How many of you out there want to know that truth and you want to live that truth that we were just talking about, but people are telling you, oh, you're not being grounded, or, you know, you should have done it this way. I get that all the time. Actually, I've had a very strange week with people coming up and telling me how I should do things, including readings, and how I should be like a certain somebody else. And I'm getting kind of tired of it. As a human, I'm just going to be real with you. I am getting tired of it. But anyway, don't compromise on who you are, and don't compromise on what you're trying to do. If you know your truth, if you know that this is, you know, whatever it might be, if it's sort of like, okay, I want to start this business and everyone's telling you it's going to fail, don't compromise. If you know that that's your path, by all means, go ahead and do it. Do it smartly, but make sure you're accomplishing your dreams. And also, don't compromise when it comes to your boundaries. That's another big one. Are you being appreciated? Are you just constantly getting used? How many of us have gone through that? You know, especially if you're a fellow reader. I mean, how often do you give free readings and, you know, and it's sort of like you don't get anything in return, you know, not even much appreciation or whatever, you know. And if somebody's saying, oh, you're overreacting, if you try to stand up for yourself and they're like, oh, you're overreacting, oh, you're reading too much into it, don't compromise on these things. If it's how you're feeling, your feelings are truth. Here, let me get this card back up. You know, what you're feeling is the truth. It might be your truth, but it deserves to be heard just like anybody else's truth. So don't compromise on your dreams. Don't compromise on what you want to do, what you want to be, and respect your own boundaries. Yeah, don't let anybody, tell me how to say it, guys. Don't let anybody chip away at your energy. Okay, let's put it that way. If someone is taking something that you're saying and they're misconstruing it, that's their problem. Okay, how many times does that happen, right? Like, these are all things that I think we've all experienced at one point in our life. And sometimes we allow others to make us feel guilty, like, oh, what was I asking too many questions? Should I not have said that? Oh, okay, I thought we were doing this. And that person just, you know, like, you might see them as overreacting as well. But this isn't, like, just to be clear, the don't compromise card is not encouraging you to put your point of view over someone else's. Always be fair, always listen to the other side. But this is more the case, like if somebody else is trying to squash your opinion, stand your ground and say, no. And the last card we have here before we go on to the color card is listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. Tell me about that, guys, because this can mean a lot of different things. On the surface level, your heart will guide you to the thing that is right for you. Your heart will guide you to a resolution. Your heart wants to live in the space of love, so it's always trying to get you there. So when we quiet ourselves and we just listen in, we may not have the how, we may not have all the steps before us, but we'll definitely have a picture of what direction to go in. Yeah. They're pointing out too, this card, if you look at the artwork, she's kind of shadowy. You know what I mean? She's kind of in darkness. And I think a lot of us are feeling that. And, you know, we might be looking at the world and how everybody functions within it and what we hold dear and, you know, what we value. And it might not match up with what you as an individual value. You know what I mean? How many times have you looked at something that everybody else is going crazy over and you're going, I don't get it. Like, why is that important to you? You know what I mean? Like, that's not deep. That's not whatever. And maybe there might even be some judgment attached to that, and that's okay here and there. Just don't live there, okay? Don't live in the judgment. But when you listen to your heart, you can come out of the shadows. You can come out of the darkness. Okay. Say it again. Living. Oh my gosh, that's what all these are. The don't compromise. I can't hold them all up, but don't compromise. I am truth. Listen to your heart. You live as authentically as you need to, okay? And if people don't agree with that, then people don't agree with that. There's not much you can do. But this is you getting clarity, I think. For some of you, it's about who you are, what you want, what kind of life do you want to build. I know I was having a moment like that this morning where I was like, I've worked so hard, I can't believe this is my life. Like, it's been, you know, it's been one thing after another. And you know, part of me just wanted to go back to bed and say, forget it. Like, I'm just going to sleep this off until things get nicer out there and people get nicer. But that's not going to happen, right? So you just have to, like, kind of give yourself a rest if you need one. But this is us standing our ground and saying no to whatever. Okay? No, you may not treat me like I'm an accessory to your life. I won't just change to suit you. No, I will not tolerate that kind of disrespect. No. Okay? And, okay, thank you. I'm hearing Michael. Is it Michael? Because I got a couple of archangels. Raguel. Michael and Raguel. They're saying that will, through that, say it again. Sorry, hold on a second. Through standing your ground, you get abundant clarity. It's not about winning. It's not about being right. It's not about power struggles, okay? It's something completely different. It's about you being allowed to be you. Okay. No? Okay, I'm sorry, guys. It's taking a minute, so let me just keep going here. There it is. Cherry, live an extraordinary life. The number is 9. Complete out the old way of doing things if you can. I mean, you're not going to have this like incredible turnaround this week, I don't feel, but you're going to, again, it's like you're getting to speak your truth. You're getting to stand up for yourself. And you can't control what other people are going to do, but you can see the good in life. And you know what I always say, do not just go into that delusional state where you're like, oh, I'm just going to remain positive. I think that's good. I think it's good to remain positive, but not if you're ignoring the negative. And I'm not sure if I've ever made that clear. Just don't ignore the negative, face it, deal with it, and move on, and stay and know that there is going to be a positive outcome. Okay. But that's a different scenario than people who completely just try to pretend like things are not happening. Okay. What ends up occurring then more often than not is that it keeps coming up and keeps coming up and keeps coming up. And they're like, oh, why am I repeating this lesson? It's because you're not working through it. Okay. But life is good. Life is good. And you're going to see that life is good. It's kind of funny this week. The feeling that I'm getting is like, let me do this, where you're kind of just like standing there, like with your arms crossed. I got to watch my microphone, like your arms crossed. And you're just watching everything fall apart. And you're kind of like, okay, this would have upset me even just a week ago. But no, I'm in my truth. This is just a part of the story. And I know that everything is falling apart because something else has got to come in. I mean, this is the obstacle being removed. So it might, okay, so friendship is coming up. Let's talk about that. For some of you, there might have been a wedge between you and another, or a family member even. And finally, you talk things out. It might be a really uncomfortable conversation, but now that block is removed, and now that friendship or that relationship has sort of a new beginning. It's sort of like the other person now knows, no, I'm not okay when you do that, all right? And you do it often, and you kind of don't consider my feelings. If you have that kind of conversation, they're obviously, because every human wants to be right, right? So they're going to find something to say back to you, and there's going to be some exchange there perhaps. But I do feel like for the most part, it's going to be very loving, and the other person and you will both be willing to compromise to some extent, and this will help you come to a middle ground and start fresh. So that's just one example. I mean, that energy can play out in every area of your life. It could be with a coworker. It could be like with yourself, the internal conflict, you know what I mean? And finally coming to peace with, okay, I may not have all the answers right now. That's all right. Do you know what I mean? I don't need to have all the answers now. I don't need to figure everything out right this second. Okay. But it does feel like things are kind of crumbling away this week. Let them see what's hanging out underneath. Okay. When all is said and done. So there it is. I think that's the message. We'll end it there. I am sending you guys so much love, and take care. Bye-bye.